All right. Well, I would say it's official. Any goodwill Stephen Shin still has in the state of Oklahoma is officially gone as of today.
Yeah.
The Sooners lose 34 to 26 here at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. Dropped to 6-2 on the year at the hands of the Ole Miss Rebels. And there's a lot to unpack, Brandon, as there usually is with a hard-fought SEC game like this one. But John Mateer acknowledged it after the game. Ultimately, he didn't play well enough today to get the Sooners a victory. And I think one of the main storylines as we continue to navigate this season, and certainly in the aftermath, is how much did that thumb surgery really affect John Mateer's game? Because the difference in the Auburn game, when we rewinded the last time Oklahoma trailed on their home field,
16,
was John
17.
Mateer making the throws. John Mateer didn't make the throws today, at least not the ones he needed to make.
He started out what, 10 for 11, if I remember correctly, or 11 for 12, something to that extent to start the game. And then proceeded to go what, 4 for 12 or 4 for 13. Like it was not good. Not good. And look, it becomes really glaring when you miss and you miss on pivotal plays. 3rd and 5, you overshoot Jaron Kanek. That dude could have turned up the field and walked into the end zone. They might have still been playing, Parker. They might have still been playing overtime, which would have been, I don't know how cool that would have been. That game took forever as it was. But, I mean, then I believe it was Deion Burks. Open again. Every time he missed, outside of the 2-point conversion to Burks in the first half, or was it first? Yeah, it was the first
I
half.
believe it was Blaylock in the
Blake
second half.
was Blaylock in the second. He was high. But that's what it's been all year. It's been him throwing high. I don't know if it's his.
The 2-point conversion he missed low.
I know I said it
Yeah, yeah.
outside of that, outside of the 2-point conversion, he's missed high, and that's the way it's been all year. He's got to figure that out. He's got to figure that out. It was costly. There was a lot of things that were costly, but him missing the mark and him missing just easy throws, like easy throws. The last drive, Jaron Kanek standing there wide open. He could have ran up the field for another 15, 20 yards, and he tries to shoot it across the middle and misses. So I mean, like there's so much to unpack in this game that just wasn't right. And John Mateer is probably the lead culprit if you wanted to talk about
I
it.
don't know that John Mateer is the lead culprit.
Outside of
He's
the offensive
certainly
line.
a
Yeah.
culprit. The offensive line did not play well.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's defense didn't play great, Brandon. For the first time all year, it felt like they got exposed. It felt like, and this kind of goes back to the Texas game as well, we felt walking away as if Brent Venables was outcoached by Steve Sarkisian in that game. Felt like he got outcoached by Lane Kiffin today as well.
Yeah. So, Lane Kiffin made the comment about the signs right before the game. And then he proceeds to wait when the comms go off and the communication can't be for Oklahoma to adjust to make the call and get into his formation. And then as he gets in the formation, he proceeds to shift and do all the funky things that he does leading up to the snap, right? I think that played so much into things. I think Oklahoma was on its heels. They weren't their typical, and BV said it, they weren't prepared the way that they should have been prepared.
And they didn't do a good job of containing Trinidad
They did
Chambliss,
not. That
who
was off.
demonstrated today that he will gash you with his legs
Just
if
enough
you
to
give him
piss you
time to
off,
do
right?
so. Well, and yeah, Oklahoma fans were certainly pissed off
Yeah.
after watching yet another Trinidad Chambliss scramble for a first down. The Sooners were not good at getting off the field on third down, nor on fourth down on several occasions. And all in all, just really got waxed, more so than they have all year. Ole Miss took it to them on the defensive side of the ball. That Ole Miss offense moved the ball with consistency, almost at will all day. There was a couple of instances where it felt like Oklahoma was maybe getting their mojo back. They were getting in a rhythm defensively, and Ole Miss always seemed to find
Yeah.
a play.
Uh, I agree with that to an extent because Oklahoma did end up with 14 tackles for losses. So I mean, they were getting again. It was a third and fourth downs, and I said leading up to this game that you had to get them in third long and fourth long, but hell, that didn't even matter today
No.
because Trinidad Chambliss was just going to run for it, or his legs were going to cause the linebackers to come up, and he was just going to throw it over that second layer, and they were going to go get 15, 20 yards, first down, keep the chains moving. And that's what it was, rinse, wash, repeat. I don't know if that's you know, you can go back to 1999 to 2011, and those were the same issues Brent Venables had. All the aggressiveness there, it comes at a price sometimes.
It
It comes
does.
at a price.
Oklahoma's secondary didn't play great, all things considered.
They did not.
There were a lot of wide receivers running wide open, and Chambliss hit the wide open receivers, which
Yep.
is what you expect a quarterback of his caliber to be able to do, and he certainly did. Good day for Xavier Robinson. Only
Awesome.
9 carries, but you felt him. 109 yards and a pair of touchdown runs. That's really what catapulted Oklahoma back into this game. Very briefly in the third quarter, they trailed 25-13. 2 Xavier Robinson touchdown runs later, they led this game 26-25.
Let me see how many carries he actually had to finish the game. Do we know how many carries exactly he had?
He finished the game with 9 carries.
9 carries. What the hell? The dude is averaging, what, it was 11.9 or something like
12.
that? 12? Yeah,
12 yards a
12-yard
carry.
carry. Did they forget he existed after the first 2 series of the second? They did. So let's be honest. They did not run him when they should have.
Well, again, like he didn't really break out. He didn't really.
He was. He
The third quarter, the mid to late third quarter was when you saw Xavier Robinson really get into gear.
Why run the quarterback? Why? If you're going to run the ball, why would you not give it to 24?
And
Why?
I think you ride with the hot hand there, but we can second guess it till the cows come home. The other aspect of it was at a certain point, you're behind. You got to lean on the pass a little bit more heavily. And the Sooners lost the time of possession battle.
Huge.
The defense was on the field a lot
By
today.
8, 9 minutes, I think it was. Something crazy.
And so
Stupid.
that's not a recipe for winning in the SEC.
There was a point where it was doubled, by the way, Parker. It was doubled. They had double the amount of time of possession. I tweeted that out, actually. It's like, dude, this is insanity.
I can believe it.
And it was just the 3 and outs, right? And then they would just sustain those long drives, third down, make a play, and then they would wait till it get late in the clock. Look, the defense was exhausted. As bad as they played, they still played well enough to win at times. Like
they kept fighting.
They kept
and I'll give
fighting.
credit for that.
They kept
fighting.
And when you needed a big play, sometimes and I say sometimes, they came up with it to keep Oklahoma within striking distance. And that's the thing. You just have to, when the defense gives you another chance, you have to capitalize on those, Parker, and they didn't.
The most costly play of the day, I think, and he had a fantastic day otherwise, but Isaiah Satania fumbling the punt there in the late stages of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that wasn't offense. That's just straight
After
up.
a nice return where he's got Oklahoma set up with a relatively short field to potentially go and take the lead, coughs the ball up, Ole Miss recovers.
It was unnecessary.
They go down the field. They kick a field goal. All of a sudden, it's an 8-point game instead of a 5-point game, and Oklahoma has to strain just a little bit harder at that point.
It was unnecessary. He had a lane down the sideline. A lane. He had a lane right next to lane. Literally. Lane Kiffin. It's a dad joke. Sorry, it was bad. He's not even gonna laugh. This dude. So, anyways, no, but he did. He turned inside where everybody was at instead of running straight down the field. He could have gained another 20 yards because I can't remember who it was. They had the guy blocked off to where they couldn't get it, and he decides to turn in. And then why did he jump? I'll never know. He jumped over a phantom player. There was nobody to jump. I know what he saw was about to happen, but it didn't happen, and he jumped, and it cost him. I don't understand. Like the comeback to the inside will just whatever. That was probably the play of the game, Parker. If you were going to get down to it, that changed the whole fabric of the game because Oklahoma had momentum at that point.
Well, that and the safety. The safety in the second quarter.
The safety.
Felt like the entire...
And roughing the passer.
The entire flow of the first half swung on that play where Oklahoma kind of inexplicably calls an outside run from their own 3-yard line. They're in the shadow of their own end zone. Torrey Blaylock gets chased down by a couple of Ole Miss defenders, tackled before he can get on the right side of the goal line. And Ole Miss takes a 12-10 lead.
Why are they running outside zone?
On your own 3-yard line, I have no clue. I very much question that decision right there. And, it's one of those play calls where it's awesome if you catch Ole Miss napping and they're all selling out to stop the inside run. All of a sudden, you bounce it outside, go for 20,
They
25.
call the
But
corner
you better be
blitz. Yeah.
absolutely certain that it works.
Yep. I asked John
Because if
Mateer
it
about that.
doesn't,
Yeah.
because if it doesn't, you get the result that Oklahoma got, which is a
Yeah.
game-changing safety.
So let me ask you, how many points did so roughing the pass ended up with 3, right? Safety 2. The punt return, the fumble, did they score a touchdown? I can't remember.
They kicked a field goal
Kicked a
after the
field
punt
goal.
return.
So essentially, they lost by 8, guys. There's your 8 right there. Added up in a nutshell. The 3 plays we said cost Oklahoma, there's your 8 points. You don't have to go for 2. So you're probably winning what was it? You probably win 27-26.
No, no,
Potentially.
no. The entire complexity of the game changes if those 3 plays are different.
Right, but I
It's
mean,
not
like,
that
I
reductionist.
know it's not that reductionist. I'm just saying, like, but in theory, if you take that away, that you don't have to go for 2,
I would say it is as simple as if you erase the safety,
correct?
which was actually a 5-point play because Ole Miss got the ball and then they went and kicked a
Oh,
field goal.
that's true.
If you erase the safety and you erase the
No,
fumble
you
punt
win
by
if you
Isaiah
yeah.
Satania, that's your recipe for a victory for Oklahoma.
Yeah,
So
that
again,
sucks
like
for you. They shot
this,
themselves in the foot.
you hear echoes of Lincoln Riley. The
Yep.
Sooners were close
Oh
today.
God.
They played close with a very talented Ole Miss football team, but close isn't good enough in the SEC. You can't be just close.
No.
And you certainly can't be just close when you've gone 6-7 out of the last 3 years. That's not good enough for this fan base. It's not good enough for where the Sooners are at now in the Southeastern
And the
Conference.
schedule is
It's got to be better than
brutal.
close over the last 4 games of the regular season. Because let's be honest, Brandon, this is still a team that can go to the college football playoff. They showed today they can hang with the best of the best, and Ole Miss is one of the best teams in the
John Mateer
country.
has to play better if they want to be a playoff team.
There are certain moments in this game,
Yeah.
certain plays in this game where if you clean some things up, that was a very winnable football game today for Oklahoma. However, what we don't want to be saying next weekend in Knoxville or come mid-November back here at Owen Field when Oklahoma takes on Missouri or LSU is, well, they were a few plays away again.
Mm-hmm.
At a certain point, you got to turn the corner. You got to be able to make those plays if you want to stay in the hunt for a college football playoff berth.
Yeah, it's just you got to play better at quarterback. I talked to somebody the other day. They said when 10 doesn't play good, you're not going to win. You're just not. They don't have the luxury of being able to make big plays. And Oklahoma, unfortunately, with as good a defense as they are, they weren't today, but notoriously as good as they are, they don't force enough turnovers to, compensate for bad QB play. So there's a lot that hinges here in the next 4 weeks that Oklahoma really has to come away and going to Knoxville. Like this is scary because you could walk away losing 3 straight before you come home.
It's not an encouraging picture when you paint it that way.
No, but it's reality. It's reality.
Oklahoma's got to get their swagger back. Got to get it back in a hurry. This wasn't a damning loss today, but it certainly is one that, kind of like we said coming out of the Texas game, you got to flush it and you got to flush it quick. You got to get things sorted out because your margin for error is basically gone.
They've shown they could do it. So there is that.
They have shown they can do it. They won on the road in this conference a week ago. They've shown they can rebound from adversity. But again, Brandon, we can't keep saying this team's a few plays away throughout the month of November. They've got to get over the hump at a certain point in games like this against opponents like that. Well, folks, we will be in Knoxville, Tennessee next Saturday. For better or worse, we will be there at Neyland Stadium to cover the Sooners matchup with the Volunteers, which should be another matchup of 2 ranked teams. Oklahoma's not going to drop out of the poll, even though they will take a bit of a dive. And we'll see how Brent Venables and this ball club can rebound from a real punch in the gut today at the hands of Lane Kiffin, and the Rebels. With that, we sign off from here at Owen Field. Go subscribe. I'm losing the ability to talk here, Brandon. Go subscribe at ouinsider.com for all of your exclusive Oklahoma football and recruiting intel. And we will see you again next Saturday. From what state is Tennessee?
Tennessee.
The Volunteer State?
Yeah, Volunteer State.
I don't know how that slipped my mind. We'll see you in the Volunteer State when the Sooners play the Volunteers next Saturday. Everybody take it easy.